Welcome to the Boston Art Podcast,
Boston's premier art podcast,
where we talk art, culture, and philosophy.
My name is Theodore Earthworms.
And I am Brian Huntress.
Welcome to the show.
Feels weird we don't have mics though.
I know. I'm recording now.
Okay.
I'll try to point it at us as we speak.
Damn, we're back to the old style.
Wait, I have an idea, actually.
Okay.
Never mind, actually. I changed my idea.
Alright. I guess we won't do that then.
We're doing a classic episode where we don't have any mics at all. Everybody listening is like, what the fuck do you mean? You never have any mics. It always sounds like shit.
Yeah, we only had like a few episodes. We've had probably like 5 where we've had mics.
Yeah. For anybody who's like an audio nerd that knows a lot about mics, we had these little lapel mics where the receiver of the microphone just plugs directly into your phone. So that it's these like little mics that record directly. It was honestly a pretty cool thing to have, but I just forgot it at my house. I think either that or it's like in a storm drain somewhere.
They're kind of missing right now, honestly.
They might be missing. They might not be. They're probably just sitting on my desk. Hopefully, they're just on my desk.
Hopefully. We have this horrible setup right now, which I guess anybody that is in a relationship probably experiences this until they live in the same place. But it's like, you know how people talk about like the divorced parents problem of having to have 2 things all the time and like living out of a duffel bag because you're always switching places during the week and then on the weekends. We do that, but like in our relationship, because you live half an hour away from me, which is just far enough that it's a pain in the ass when one of us forgets something. So the mics might be at your house, but we're not checking until later.
I'm not going to check till later. I knew this kid in high school who was a photographer, and he saved up a bunch of money to get a new computer so that he could edit his photos better. And he bought a desktop because he thought that would be like would be better than getting a laptop.
Yeah.
And then his parents got divorced.
Oh, that sucks.
So he had a desktop, and he like couldn't like move his whole desktop.
That really sucks.
Yeah.
They should have told him before he got the desktop.
You know, now that I said that, I feel like that wasn't a funny story at all.
It's
It's
a
just
sad
kind of
story.
fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Damn. Because it probably also costs like quite a bit more.
Yeah, it's probably like really bad. That sounds really sad, actually.
Yeah.
I feel that though. You know what sucks for me is like not the same at all. That was like a shitty comparison, honestly. We're equating it to parental divorce.
Sorry, everybody.
Sorry about that. But like it does suck. Like I bought a thing of nice skincare products for my house.
Right.
But I feel like most of the time I shower at your house more often. Because I shower at your house when I get there on the weekend, usually, because I came straight from work. And we go to the gym, and I shower again. So it's like, I get a good couple showers when I'm at your house for like 3 days in a row.
What kind of skincare products did you buy?
Alright, so maybe it was CeraVe. Maybe it wasn't that nice, but I was excited about it. I spent like $12.
I just bought CeraVe face wash and moisturizer.
I was so fucking excited that you did that.
Why?
Because you didn't have face wash before.
I wash my face in the shower.
With what?
Soap.
The body wash, you mean?
Look, I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect person.
You know what's the real thing for me is my hair products, because I do actually spend a lot of money on different kinds of hair products, and I change up what I'm doing like every 2 weeks. I'm kind of neurotic about it because we don't have to get into this, but I have hair. Well, my hair texture is like in between curly and wavy, so there are parts of it that curl like ringlet curls underneath, like where my neck is, but the top of my hair, partially I think because it's damaged and also partially because that's how curls are, it's just straighter. So if I don't put product in it when I get out of the shower, the texture is really gross in a sensory way. Like it just feels, it's probably fine. Like I've been doing it my whole life that way until like a few years ago, so it's probably not actually a big deal, but it makes it much more frizzy. It's much more likely to get snarled, and it gets really poofy because the curls aren't isolated. Like they don't stay in a ringlet together. It's just each strand separates, so it makes my hair really big and triangle shaped. But if I put gel and leave-in conditioner in it when I get out of the shower and like scrunch it and let it air dry and do my little routine, it comes out a lot nicer, and it's much more like office appropriate, and like I just feel more confident, and I feel like I don't look like my hair needs to be brushed. So that kind of sucks because I have all of these products at my house, and then when I go to your house, if I take a shower, I either didn't bring them or I have to bring a whole tote bag of like 6 different kinds of hair things in order for me to be satisfied.
What's an office appropriate hairstyle for you?
You know, as soon as I said that, I was like, that is a whole other conversation. But I actually think I can't remember a single incident when I've seen another person and thought that they didn't look off as appropriate, because I actually don't give a shit about that kind of thing. But I feel really self-conscious about that. Like, for me, personally, if I go to work and I feel like there's, like, cat hair on my clothes, or if my hair looks frizzy, or if my roots are grown in, I feel like someone's going to say something to me about it. I've had really shitty bosses also. So we've gotten into that. But I don't think that's really a huge issue at my current job, but I do want to look presentable. And I feel like, especially because I use box dye on my hair, I just have, like, personal pet peeves about it not looking, like, clean. Because, I don't know, whatever. This is more of a competitive insecurity thing, I think. But
Well, do you feel like there's, like, an expectation for you to look a specific way, like in an office setting?
In my office specifically, I've only been told, like, nobody's even said anything to me about it directly since I got this new job. I think there's just an expectation to look professional. But
Right.
I've had jobs before where, like, I had a boss tell me that she was going to send me home if I came in with chipped nails. And that if I was going to get my nails done at all, I shouldn't do them at home, and that there was an expectation that I would get acrylics done because they last longer, and I should be able to do that. But she was paying me, like, $15 an hour. That was a few jobs ago. So I just couldn't do my nails when I worked there. So that was fun. But I don't know. That's pretty insane. That's like an abusive work environment thing. I don't think most places are like that, hopefully. But yeah, I don't know. It's not really about work so much as, like, a self-confidence thing. But
Well, what do you think the best way is to create? Let's talk about, like, a wardrobe, for example. Like, what's the best way for you to create a wardrobe for your office work that makes you feel good about yourself, but also doesn't break the bank? How do you do that?
for me personally, what I do is... Well, I guess that's difficult because it really depends on your sense of style, too.
Well,
and
break
where
it
you
down.
work. Well, I mean, it's not really that easy. It depends on the kind of clothes that you wear, because there's a lot of different versions.
True.
But it also depends on the place that you work. Because I've worked in banking before, and that's a lot more strict than where I currently work, because I work in the arts. So I'm still expected to dress professionally, but you're also... like the clients and the people you interact with expect you to look artsy too, so you can be a lot more creative.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Like
banking.
Curator core,
Yeah, kind of.
as I've called it.
Like if you dress wacky but you look like put together.
Professional, but with zany glasses.
Yeah, I don't know. As long as you look intentional, it's fine. But if you look like you just put on the first thing that was in your laundry basket and you just jumped out of bed and you haven't showered in a couple days, that's not great. Which, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. In my personal experience, sometimes it's more about knowing how to not look like that, even if that's what's going on.
Right.
I don't know, whatever. But what I tend to do is I like to get a lot of basics, like black leggings, black tights, black, like slacks or jeans, and black or white turtlenecks. And then get random statement pieces to go over it, like funky blazers or sweaters, a lot of cardigans. So you can wear... like, there's an outline already of, like, you have 10 of this black basic shirt and 10 of these pants. And you have an outfit every day, but you can accessorize it and customize it so it looks different and you can express yourself without having to do a lot to get dressed in the morning. Because I also have a really fucking long commute. So I usually wake up like 3 hours before I'm even supposed to be at my job, get dressed in 20 minutes and hit the road. So it's nice to be able to do that, because even if I don't have time to lay out an outfit, I have that structure and I can just add something on top. But I have pretty long hair, and the curls thing is my main, because that's the thing I can't control, because you wake up in the morning and your bangs are like straight up in the air and you don't have time to straighten them. You're just kind of fucked.
How do you deal with that? Because I've never had bangs, but like, oh, look at this kid, he's getting a line.
Good for him.
That's a good spot. I've always wanted to skate that. Anyway, sorry. Just saw that street skater getting a pretty cool trick, I guess.
Yeah.
But how the fuck do you handle, like, when you have short bangs? It seems like there's nothing you could do about the possibility that they might just stick up.
So there is, but I don't know if you noticed this morning, it was actually on the counter in the bathroom, but I have a tiny hair straightener for bangs. It's like 2 inches long.
Oh, a tiny straightener?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's just for my bangs.
And that just, that takes care of it then?
If I have the time and the patience to do it, yeah.
Huh.
And another thing that people do a lot of the time, which I don't usually do because sensory-wise it freaks me out, but I have done it in the past and it does work, is literally just washing your bangs in the sink.
Mm.
Just like as soon as you wake up, just really quickly doing that and scrubbing them out.
A quick bang shampoo, straighten it.
No, not straighten it. Just like wet it and let it dry naturally. Because usually what happens is you were sleeping on your face, your bangs are sticking straight up because of how you slept. Right. So if you just rinse them out real quick and make sure they're not greasy or anything, you can like refresh them.
I like that.
Yeah, because sometimes dry shampoo doesn't really do it because it's not really about them being dirty. It's just about the way that they're laying. Mm-hmm. That's kind of difficult when you have curly hair though, because sometimes I do that and then my bangs look like a mustache. Oh. Like they just like curl on the sides.
Oh my lord.
That's why I use the straightener most of the time.
Huh.
I don't know why we're getting so deep into this topic.
What about makeup? What about
makeup?
like what are we doing for makeup?
Why are we talking about this?
We're getting into it.
All right. I actually love talking about this, but I feel self-conscious.
That's what this episode's about.
Okay. Well, like, what do you mean about makeup? Like, what do I do?
Yeah, like, are we talking eyes, eyebrows? Like, what are we doing? Give us a breakdown.
It's such a vague question.
Is it? I don't know.
You're like, I don't know.
How do we look good?
Well, I actually do a different makeup routine for work than I do when I'm not at work.
All right.
Because there's a faster version that looks like... What I started doing at my new job is putting on makeup that doesn't look like I'm wearing that much makeup. Okay. Because it's kind of, like, effortless. I don't have my makeup bag in front of me, and I've been using the same shit for, like, way longer than is probably normal. Like, I know if you're, like, a real makeup girly, you're supposed to replace your stuff every 6 months. I don't fucking do that. I've been using the same makeup for a long time, and I replace my shit when it runs out. Which is probably bad, and I don't advise it. But I don't know what brands I have. But I usually do... I recently shaved the tails off of my eyebrows to do straight brows, because it's a TikTok trend right now, and I wanted to try it. Yeah, so my routine is a little different than normal, but what I do always get is I use an NYX brow pencil, the one that has the pencil on one side and a spoolie on the other side.
What is a spoolie?
So that's the little, like, mascara wand brush thing.
Oh, gotcha. I think I know what that looks like.
So the spoolie
looks
itself...
like a little Christmas tree.
Yes, it does. Yeah, exactly. So when you get the... Your face right now, you're like, yeah.
I knew this.
When you get the brow pencil that has the... It's like a little brow, like, pen. It's, like, thinner, and it's, like, a fine tip. So you can twist it, and it's like a mechanical pencil for eyebrow stuff, basically.
Oh.
And NYX has a really nice one that's really, really skinny, because a lot of the times when you get the regular pencils with the wood, they're, like, kind of fat, and you have to sharpen them. And this one, you don't have to sharpen. It's, like, easier. Because again, I also have all my makeup in a little travel bag that I keep in my purse, because half the time I'm at your house, half the time I'm at my house. I crash at my friends' houses sometimes because I live 2 hours away from my job. So everything that I do, all my routines have to fit in a teeny tiny little bag. So I just have, like, basic products. This is like the drugstore makeup version.
So what are the essential tools? What do we need?
Mainly that. I use the NYX pencil.
Okay.
And the way that I do it is I do the tails of my brows, like a point. So I draw those completely on. And, well, how specific do you want me to be? Do you want me to say this like I'm telling you?
Go in, dude.
Okay, so...
Go in.
All right. So I'm assuming I'm just going to start from ground zero. Okay.
Yeah, do it.
So basically, the way that your eye is, the edge of your iris, if you're looking straight ahead, is the edge of the color of your iris is the point of your eyebrow. Or it should be.
Okay.
So you draw a line you basically map out your face. So you picture a straight line from one tail of your eyebrow on the left to the other tail of your eyebrow on the right. Make sure those match. Put the triangle shape so that the points are there, so that they're parallel to each other. And then basically create a triangle that goes... this is hard to explain because I'm driving right now, but... So look at my eye right here, right? So I can't look straight at you, but the point of the triangle, where the tip of my eyebrow is, the highest point, would be parallel to the outside side of my iris.
I see.
And then you draw a point there, and then draw that line across this way, and then go like that to create this kind of trapezoid shape.
That makes sense.
And then taper them down in the front too. And draw them so that they're thick from here to here. So they're fully filled in with the pencil, and then I use the spoolie to brush it so it gradually fades out. So the front of my brow is natural, and then it fades into the actual drawn-on part on the end. That's the basic start. And then what I do is I have this blush pencil thing. It's kind of like a marker, so it's like thick, like the size of like a quarter or something. And it's just a blush stick. It's basically like if I was trying to describe it to you right now, I guess it was like, it would kind of be like if blush was like a pastel or something, like a oil pastel. It's like that kind of texture, and it's a big circle like this. So I just dab it here, sometimes on my mouth, like right in the kiss mark right here, and then on my eyelids and under my brows like this. So like on my brow bone and my eyelid, and then I blend that in with my hands.
Why are we doing that? Just for some tone, some color?
Yes, but you don't do it thick enough that you can really, like, it's not pink, like you can't tell I'm wearing blush. It's just to make my face look flushed, because it makes you look a little bit more like you just woke up. Like, it's just a freshening kind of thing to make your skin look nice.
Right.
So you do that, you do your brows. Sometimes I do a little bit of black eyeliner just at the corners, and then go like this with my fingertips to kind of draw it out like a cat eye, but really, really faint. And then I do my lashes, which I don't do anything fancy with that. I just do mascara.
Just mascara?
Just on the outsides, not
No
the whole.
specific why just on the outsides?
Because I have really round eyes, so if you do the whole eye, it makes it look very dramatic. So if I just do the sides, it kind of elongates it more instead of making
It's a little
it
more elegant
round.
rather than like a big pop statement.
Yeah. Like, I don't need the upward movement, I just need the sideways movement.
I see.
And then basically what you have is, it looks like I'm wearing makeup if you're looking for makeup, but it just looks like I look clean, essentially. And then that's really important to me because, by contrast, I have box-dyed black, long, curly hair that I usually don't do anything to. So if that's really wild, but my face is really clean, that's a good thing.
We paused because
Did he just sit in there?
yeah, he's just chilling. It looked like this man we're in front of a large wall, but it looked like this guy was about to like jump off the wall or like roll off of it or something.
We have to explain the context.
It's a beach wall.
We're at a beach wall, and we're at an area where there's no other cars for like 30 feet on either side of us, and this guy just climbed up on the wall, walked right into the front, like right before the hood of my car, and sat down. He's just directly in front of us, like 5 feet away.
But he's not facing us, so it's not that weird.
It's kind of weird. He could have sat anywhere. Should I move?
Yeah, there's like an entire continent of coast that he could have chosen from, and he chose right in front of us. It's okay. We'll just try to ignore him, I guess. It's a little
Kind of block the view.
There's like a Grim Reaper silhouette man just sitting in front of us.
It's not like that. He's just wearing a hoodie.
Yeah, but we don't even. I don't know. It's a little sus, but that's fine. That's fine. We don't have to move.
It wasn't like an aggressive action. It's just odd.
All right, let's get off the Grim Reaper phantom man at the beach standing in front of us that's gonna lunge up and kill us at any moment, and talk about. I don't know. What else do we got? What about nails? That's another thing that we talk about. What are we doing for nails?
Well, I'm wicked insecure about nails now because of that boss that I had.
Oh.
But
wait, can I have a little piece of that pumpkin bread?
Yeah, of course, sure.
A little bite? Thank you. Yeah.
My current job, though, it's not... Nobody has ever said anything shitty to me about appearance at work, to be completely honest. So, I just want to put that out there because everyone is really nice.
Always very respectful.
Yeah.
At the Boston Art Podcast offices.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist.
It does.
Obviously.
We're in it right now.
Yeah.
This is the office. But no, I'm not really a nails person. Not that I don't like them, but I just don't... Like, that's a whole other skill set that I never really picked up. But I've been recently dabbling in press-ons. And I've had some crises with press-ons. You were there for that.
Yeah, like when you had to dip your whole hand in fucking acetone and it like melted you. You like looked like you were gonna you had like gangrene.
So I had never used press-ons before, and I didn't know that the glue that comes with the nail set is like evil and like super glue basically. Oh, I think this guy just realized that there's somebody in this car. Did you see him just look at us in shock?
We need this guy. The fact that there's like a strange man, like all subplot like B plot happening on top of like a makeup outfit hair breakdown for you is just,
very appropriate.
It's very scary. Like it's just adding a layer of suspense to this otherwise wholesome and fun discussion.
I want to move, but I don't want to turn the car on and have him freak out or like be embarrassed because we're like right behind him. He's just a nice old man. It seems like. He's just sitting here looking at the beach. Is there like a staircase or something on the other side of the wall that we can't see?
No, it's just rocks.
What?
It's just rocks on the other side of that wall.
Should I move further down the beach?
Yeah, you know what? I don't want to talk about this fucking guy anymore, so let's get the fuck away from him. Because I hate him.
I hate him.
All right, bye, Phantom Man.
He didn't turn around.
Scary Phantom guy that just basically sat on your car.
Oh, he definitely didn't know we were in the car. Did you see him turn around?
I made eye contact.
He was like, oh.
He kind of had the same vibe as Killer Bob from Twin Peaks.
No, he didn't, dude.
Yeah, he looked just
That was
like
somebody's like grandpa or dad. He
that.
just
Looked
came
just
for a
like
night.
Killer Bob from Twin Peaks.
No, it's a Sunday afternoon. He just wanted to look at the birds, and he maybe has no spatial awearness. We can't.
For reasons unbeknownst to us.
We can't fault him for that.
We can't, I guess. Oh, I'm not buckled, but it's okay because we're only going like 10 miles an hour in a parking lot.
Yeah, fuck you, listeners.
Yeah,
You
fuck
have to hear the
you,
beeping.
fuck you, assholes. Ugh.
Dude, I can't wait for the summer to come again, for this beach to be fun to go to.
We literally have never gone to this beach in the summertime together.
Really? We only go in the winter?
We've never been to this fucking beach in the summer. I don't remember a single time we've been like, oh yeah, summertime beach, let's go. Like, never.
I feel like that's the, like...
Well, for the listeners, fuck it. We're in Plymouth. And the reason that we don't ever come to beaches like this in Plymouth during the summertime is because of what I like to call one of the most intense forms of like real estate xenophobia that exists on planet Earth can only be created by a natural coast beach town. Beach towns would rather like blow themselves up and kill everybody in them than allow somebody that isn't from their town to go to their beach.
No, so the thing about that is that you totally can... I'm gonna fucking turn this off. Oh my god, wait,
You're in
shit.
Park.
Okay, not in the park.
Anyway.
You can totally get a beach sticker for Plymouth for like $15 for the year.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you try to go to Duxbury and go to the beach, it's just like you have to like give them like you have to like do an iris scan and fucking like fingerprints and proof of address and passport, birth certificate. And like you're not getting anywhere near this fucking beautiful fucking beautiful fucking amazing sand.
I'm with you on this.
Unless like your
emotionally.
great grandfather was born on the shores of Duxbury.
I would never turn down an opportunity to bitch, but I also do want to highlight the fact that there have been so many chances for us to get a sticker at any of these beaches, and we just refuse to pay them.
Yeah, I don't want to fucking pay them. What am I going to pay the beach toll so I can go to the beach one time?
No, you have it for the
Get
whole
like
season.
third-degree burns because I forgot sunscreen and like get dehydrated because I was swimming in the ocean for too long.
This is the South Shore experience, is only going to the beach, sitting in your car in the winter, and then going to other people's beaches later on in the summertime. Can we talk about the like ice caps that are on the beach right now? I've never seen that before.
Ice caps on the beach.
Do you see that? Look at
Yeah.
There's ones over here too.
The ice
Because it was-
that's frozen onto the rocks.
It was negative 37 yesterday, and today it's 45 degrees.
Yeah, didn't they say that it was one of the coldest days in Boston in like 100 years or something?
I think it was like 7 years.
Some like fucked up. Oh, 7
It was
years.
7 years.
But I heard somebody say that they hadn't had a day that cold since like 1890 or something.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Maybe the article I saw was from before they actually.
Maybe I just like very vaguely skimmed a headline. Like I didn't even skim an article. I skimmed a headline.
I did that too. So
My entire like informational like input for pretty much everything in my life is just like a vague skim of something
do you think I'm
recently.
negative?
What do you mean?
Do you think I'm like negative all the time?
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. No, you're not. No, I don't think
What the
for
fuck?
the most part. I mean, everybody's negative sometimes, but I don't see you overall as a negative person. And trust me, I feel like I'm a good authority on this because I cannot stand hanging out with people that are negative all the time and are like always complaining or always see the bad in things. Like that kind of attitude, like I do not vibe with.
I feel like I get feedback a lot where people say that I like have a. I don't know, because I
Yeah,
feel like my
but
close
who?
friends think that I'm relatively positive, but maybe I'm just like an aggressive talker. Because when I hear clips of myself from the podcast, I feel like I'm always like pissed off and I'm always talking shit about something.
No.
But I don't feel that way in my heart.
That's like a biased thing. No. The only clips that have ever become very stuck out in your mind or that anybody has ever pulled out are sensationalized ones. It would be very easy. It's okay. It would not get anybody. It would. Okay, like for example, the one time in the history of the universe that we got like clip chimped, as they say, where somebody, I'm not going to get into the details of it, But the only time that happened, that person pulled out the worst possible clips ever.
Yeah.
None where you were being charitable or insightful or anything like that. They just pulled out some like 2-second thing where you like said something funny or like that was basically a meme and wasn't serious.
And
but then you put it in a completely serious context and like blow it out of proportion.
Yeah.
And that makes it like...
Well, not even that though. Like even when we were just talking about like makeup and stuff, I feel like I was being like...
I don't see it that way. What do you mean? How do you feel like you're being negative about makeup? I think that was a really cool segment that we should do more of.
That was fun. I like talking about that.
Is there more that we could talk about? Do you have any makeup hot takes?
Makeup hot takes?
Wait, I want to finish this discussion on negativity. What the fuck, where's this coming from? This is so random to me.
I don't know. I feel like whenever you ask me about stuff I have going on, like when we talked about the show that I'm doing last episode or whatever, I'm always like, yeah, but it's kind of, everyone's going to hate me. It's going to be kind of stupid and I'm going to get fired and everyone thinks I suck and I'm ugly and my hair looks bad.
You know what I think you have that many people have? I've had this discussion with my mom because this is something that me and my mom both relate on.
Okay.
But I don't know what else to call it other than good thing trauma. It sounds stupid when you say it like that. Maybe I need a better name. That's the working title.
Okay.
But it's some kind of trauma, or maybe trauma is a strong word, but it's an emotional response that people have when something good is happening in their life, that they feel some kind of insecurity or fear because they feel like because something good is happening, that means that something bad is going to happen to balance it out.
Yeah.
Like you don't deserve to experience something good without something awful happening right after or to take it away from you. Like I've described it. I like to think of it as like the feeling of if you were eating an ice cream cone on a sunny day and then somebody just punched you in the face. Like right in the middle.
Yeah.
Like as you took a bite of like a delicious ice cream of your favorite flavor.
That's horrible.
You just told a joke and everybody laughed and you feel so good. And then someone just fucking punches you in the fucking ear and you fall on your face. That's that feeling. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm taking this way too far.
Well, I don't even know if it's like a conscious expectation something bad is going to happen. It's like... You get really aggressive mental image.
Anyway.
But it's like, I feel like when people like compliment me on something or they're like, how is this going? That's really good. I like talk it down until I start to feel embarrassed and then the conversation tapers out and then it's like I punish them for asking.
This is really funny actually because at this very beach we recorded an episode where I was saying that I did that and you gave me a stern talking to. You like dressed me down for saying...
I was mad at you for saying that.
That's how I react when people ask me about something cool happening in my life or about my art or something. I think that was upgrading your confidence. That episode for reference for if anyone wants to go back and listen to that and then return to this conversation so you too can join me in judging Theo for being this way right now. Just kidding. No judgment.
I've been really aware of it recently because I've been thinking a lot about learning styles. This kind of ties into a conversation you and I had the other day privately, but we can bring it up now.
Top secret.
So right now I'm in this weird transitional time that is actually really, really nice, but I hadn't, like, I kind of just started doing all this stuff without thinking about how it's been such a transition for me and how it would be a big transition for me, and now I'm realizing as it's happening that it is. But I'm in a college class right now.
Okay.
Which, it's a free class, it's not going towards a degree or anything, but I'm learning how to do graphic design, because that's a really amazing job benefit that my job offers, is that I can take free classes in the art program at Tufts.
Badass.
Yeah, honestly fucking sick and insane. So I'm doing that. I'm taking one class, and it's really weird because I dropped out of college 4 years ago. And when I was in college, I was really stressed out about grades all the time. I was an honors student. I was full-time and working a regular job also. Like, all stress all the time, just trying to get good grades the whole time. And now that I'm there again, and my grade, I don't get a grade. Like, it literally doesn't matter. I'm just learning the tool. It's a really weird, eye-opening experience because I'm dealing with the insecurity of being in a classroom again and also recalibrating the way I'm thinking about learning because I don't have to stay up all night and stress about
getting a good grade. I just have to make sure that I understand the material, because at the end of the day, nothing happens other than her being like, cool, thanks for turning this in.
And don't you think that's how it should be, man? Like, the
Yes.
financial incentive, the financial, like, threat associated with a college course is so horrible, because that stress and that panic can really sabotage you. And if there's, like, can you imagine if, like, you were going through, like, I don't know, like, imagine if you were in, like, nursing school or something, and you just, like, went through, like a couple years of classes and like, and I don't know, then you, like, fail the final or something. That wouldn't be, like a schedule setback or something. That would be, like, financially, like, that would fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, or any schooling or something. Like, if you fail a class, then you have to go back for another fucking semester or something right before you graduate, or, like...
Well, it's not even that simple
like,
either.
you lose money, because you have to pay again.
Well, if you paid, but if you're a scholarship student, that could fuck up your whole situation, which I was. Like, if your GPA dips low enough, you lose everything. And if your GPA dips low enough, some scholarships, you have to pay the scholarship back that you didn't have money for in the first place. So there's a lot of existential horror associated with it. Which, I mean, whatever, but it's been really weird going back in this context, because it's like, there's no way to fail other than just not going anymore. And even if I did that, nobody would care. Like, it's just, like, I have this great opportunity to do this and to learn this, and the benefit is that I can learn this new skill, and the downside is nothing. And I've never experienced that in education before, which is cool. But it's making me really reckon with a lot of the feelings that I brought into the classroom in the first place, because I was thinking about it the way that I used to think about school, and also feeling really insecure about being older than other people, and, like, I dropped out before and I don't have a degree, and, like, this isn't grad school, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I had all these feelings about it, and then I realized that I have to kind of let go of them in order to actually learn in this class and to feel good about it, and I don't need to be miserable the whole time. I can just go with the flow and it'll be fine.
How do you do that? How do you let go and go with the flow?
Well, I've actually been just thinking about it a lot, and there's somebody else in my class that is also a continuing education student, and she gets in arguments with the professor a lot during class because she's having a hard time with not feeling comfortable with the software, because it's graphic design, so we're learning Adobe Illustrator, and she's a traditional, like, painter and illustrator for the most part. And she's an older student, and she's made some comments about the professor being younger than her and feeling like things aren't being explained properly. And at first I was kind of annoyed because she was interrupting the lecture a lot, and then I realized that she's probably dealing with a lot of the same feelings that I was, of just feeling weird about being in the classroom and insecure about learning new stuff. And I've kind of been trying to just, like, reflect on the way that I'm acting and think about how I feel about it, and realize that, like, if I'm looking at her and I'm like, dude, it's not that deep, like, relax, that's also true for me, you know? So just getting comfortable with the feeling of being uncomfortable and understanding that that's a transitional phase into comfort. Which, parallel to this, another thing I was going to say is that I also started a new job like 3 months ago, which I've bounced around jobs a lot in the last couple of years because of the pandemic, but all the jobs that I've worked have been either entry-level stuff, like I worked at Trader Joe's for a while, which didn't take that long to, like, that's a pretty easy job to grasp. And then jobs that I've had before, like being a bank teller, I went back to the same bank again and did the same job again, or I did an entry-level job in the place that I worked already before. So I didn't learn anything new, it was just readapting to an old setting. So this is the first time in, like, 4 years also that I'm learning a new job at the same time as school. And that was another thing too, where I had a really rocky start when I first started, not even because everything was new, but because I was so anxious all the time that I was going to fuck it up and lose everything, that I was making stupid mistakes because I was stressed out all the time and not contributing a lot, being really quiet during meetings and, like, really anxiously networking. And then honestly, my boss talked to me about it. It was like, you need to relax and you're going to be fine, which is the summary of the conversation. It was a long meeting, but then I did, and everything has been so much easier since then. And it's like, part of that is a learning curve of a new job, but it's weird because, in summary, I'm in this transitional phase right now where almost everything that I'm doing, I'm also doing a show, which is a bigger show that I've done in a while. I'm going back to doing markets for the first time in, like, 4 years. Like, everything on my plate right now is something completely new that I'm not comfortable in. And it's been really weird and kind of liberating to let myself do that because there have been times where I wouldn't have and would have just stuck to what I know, which is why I'm in this position, because I was doing that. But it's also, I've noticed myself doing a lot more negative self-talk and trying to kind of curb that, because I feel shitty about it because it's new and I don't feel confident, but that doesn't mean that I'm actually shitty and I need to stop telling people that. I don't know. What? Why are you looking at me?
Yeah, and especially to kind of go back a little bit and talk about how you were seeing this behavior in somebody else and initially kind of feeling like maybe even judging them a little bit, and then being like, you know what, I actually see this in myself, you know, a little bit, and it makes you more empathetic. It reminds me of this quote I heard from somebody one time where they said that one of the best things you can do is that if you feel yourself wanting to give advice to somebody, like if you're about to give somebody advice, it's good to just not say it and to just do whatever.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to give somebody advice, just stop and just do whatever that advice is in your own life, you know, like, because
Maybe I shouldn't sit in front of the car.
yeah, right. You should go sit. No, you should find random strangers in their car and then go sit in front of their car.
Maybe
to
I
scare
put myself
them.
in his shoes.
Yeah.
To scare them.
To fucking just to create ambient fear just around you at all times in other people's minds. Just who cares who they are?
Oh, man,
Yeah.
dude.
No, you're doing really fucking good, and you're doing a lot of badass things. And something I wanted to say too about all that is that, like, the idea of like being completely engrossed in multiple avenues of life and projects that all make you uncomfortable in a good way. There's a lot of people that would not even be in one. Like where they like there's probably a lot of people that feel stuck and feel like, and like, I don't know, like they wouldn't dream of being involved in even a single thing that would scare them and would make them feel vulnerable and is something that new.
Yeah.
Let alone every aspect of their life feeling like that. You know, that's like a certain amount of like feeling, like that's a out of control feeling that not a lot of people are comfortable with. But I imagine a lot of people would like to feel comfortable with that.
Well, here's the thing, too, though, that is sort of a mindfuck about the whole situation, is, like, if you think about it, when you look at somebody and their situation and their goal, which I try to do this, at least emotionally. I've been trying to do it more professionally lately, but that's what I'm talking about right now. But I think with friendships and relationships and stuff, I kind of try to hold myself to the standard of, like, if there's something that's bothering you and it scares you to deal with it, you have to deal with it, because if you don't, it's going to stay. And if you just keep addressing things, it is going to mean that you're going to move on to the next thing, whatever that is. And that might, like, as long as you're holding yourself to a parameter of keeping your boundaries, keeping your standards, keeping your priorities, that won't ever be a backslide. It might be like a sideways move, but if you're holding people accountable for their behavior, and like if somebody's being a shitty friend to you and you address it, you might lose that person, but that's not really a downgrade compared to just eating it all the time. Like, those problems sit. And I think that's true professionally too, of like, I really want to learn this skill, but I don't know how to do that. Like, I've never done graphic design. When people reach out to me and are like, can you do a logo? I'm like, that's not what I do. And that's true, but I could do that. Like, I have the knowledge of color and composition and all of that. I just don't know how to use like graphic design equipment. So that's why I'm taking this class, is so I can expand my skill set there and maybe do some things professionally at my regular job, like logo design and like pamphlet design and stuff.
Get some XP.
Yeah, and the only reason I haven't done that, like going through art school throughout my life, has been because it was scary and intimidating. So it's like, I'm either going to not have that skill or I am. But the thing is, if you keep doing that and holding yourself to that standard, it doesn't ever get comfortable. Like, you just have a series of uncomfortable situations that incident, like that specific thing might be comfortable. Like, maybe next year I'll feel totally fine using Adobe Illustrator. Maybe if I started school again, like when I was in school, when I started a new semester of classes, it was just the way shit was. It wasn't a scary thing. But that doesn't mean that something else won't be on your plate. So it kind of makes, like, those feelings of insecurity don't really go away. You just have to keep massaging them and working through them to advance in the direction you want to go. Which is really hard to think about when you're looking at other people doing it and you're like, they're doing this so effortlessly. Like, they wanted to learn this. My best friend learned Mandarin over the pandemic. She's fluent now. She just learned that shit.
But she didn't just learn that shit. She was in private tutoring and working on it for like 4 years.
Baller move.
Yeah. But it's so easy to be like, well, that was easy for that person. I suck. And it's like, the work is not easy ever, especially if you're uncomfortable.
I fucking hate that, dude. This idea of like looking at somebody who did something that you want to do and you're like, well, I could have done that if I was like you, or if I had this, or like, it's like, fuck you. Like, all of us are operating on, like, all of this is relative.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. Like, I know that there's like a lot of like systemic and out of control circumstances that prevent people from doing specific things. But when it comes to something like, I don't know, like practicing fucking Spanish on Duolingo.
Yeah.
Like, don't fucking compare.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to fucking learn Spanish on Duolingo, go fuck yourself. Go fucking do it.
Go fuck
If
yourself.
you didn't do that, that's on you.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too, is like, if you're feeling insecure, that is not a reason to not do the thing. Because what I'm telling you, I don't know if this is encouraging or not, but you're never going to not feel insecure. That feeling will not go away. You'll just have new things to be insecure about, but that is what you want. Otherwise, you're going to just feel insecure about the same old shit the whole time and never grow. So instead of trying to eliminate that uncomfortable feeling, overcome that uncomfortable feeling over and over again until you have bigger and more challenging concepts to deal with.
Overcoming challenges.
It's like if you're a hiker, like the first hike that you go on, if me and you decided to start like hiking right now, we wouldn't do like a fucking like Mount Everest.
Like climb up like fucking Mount Washington in New Hampshire.
Yeah, no, it would be like we go to the fells and go on a walk, probably. And that would be really hard and daunting. Yeah. And then in 10 years, if we're still doing that every single weekend, maybe we would try Mount Washington, but that doesn't mean it's going to be easy to do Mount Washington. Like the difficulty doesn't go away. It's just bigger challenges.
Do you remember the time I got lost in Blue Hills?
Oh my God, yeah.
Like in the end of the pandemic, I thought I like was doing that stupid shit we were all doing in like 2020 when we're like, oh, like I'll just try something new and get out of myself, and like since I'm quarantined, so I tried to go hiking
alone.
Yeah, and I didn't have a flashlight or anything, and no service on my phone because of Blue Hills, and the sun set before I had gotten out. And I straight up could not fucking find how to get back to out of the woods. And I was like getting so anxious. And there was a part too, this scares me thinking back to when I did this because I didn't think anything of it at the time, but I've heard some horror stories about people doing specifically this.
Yeah.
But I was running and jogging down the path to try to figure out how to get the fuck out of there faster. Because I was like, oh my God, like this can't go on any further. And that's people usually get fucked up when they run when they're lost in the woods, I've heard.
Like trip and break an ankle or something.
Fall in a fucking hole or like run off a cliff or run into a tree.
In the dark.
Yeah, but it lasted for
Brian.
almost 2 hours and it was fully nighttime and then I finally fucking found the correct path.
You're lucky you didn't come across an animal or something.
I mean, I don't know, man. Even the animals that are in Massachusetts wilderness are typically not. Like, I mean, if you run into a coyote, the coyote's going to run from you. Coyote's not going to.
What about like fisher cats?
I don't think there's fisher cats in like fucking Blue Hills.
Yes, there are.
I don't think a fisher cat's going to fucking attack you.
What about bears?
There's no fucking bears in Blue Hills, Theo.
I think you're wrong.
There are literally. I'm going to like cut this out of the podcast.
No.
This is not true.
Literally leave it in.
Literally Google on your phone right now, are there bears in fucking Massachusetts in Blue Hills Reservation?
You're talking shit to me right now when you're saying you were running in the dark in the woods for 2 hours.
I started this off by saying it. I was freaking out, okay? I thought I was lost in the woods. What did you look up? Let me see.
I don't want endangered animals. I want dangerous animals.
Wait, so you didn't look up, are there bears in Blue Hills?
Okay, fine. Are there bears in Blue Hills? Bears are opportunistic carnivores.
All right, what's that website? Is it Blue Hills Reservation of Massachusetts?
Bro, black bears live and breed in Worcester County, northern Middlesex County, and west of the Berkshires.
West of the Berkshires is is New York.
Where is Blue Hills?
Worcester is central Massachusetts.
Middlesex County.
Middlesex County? Where the fuck is that?
That's the Fells. That's like Somerville.
Shut the fuck up. So you think there's bears in Milton? Or Somerville?
You are so dumb.
There's a bear in Malden.
Where is Blue Hills?
Blue Hills is like...
You don't even know.
No, it's hard to describe, but it's like borders Quincy, Milton, Braintree. If you look on the map, like it connects to many different towns, but you can access it through Braintree or Quincy or many different towns. But dude, there's not a black bear in Middlesex Fells Reservation. Maybe I'm totally fucking stupid right now and I'm completely wrong. But I don't think there are bears on the outskirts of the city. Reading Wikipedia right now, scrolling through. Are you looking at a list of dangerous animals in Massachusetts?
No.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at the information on Blue Hills to see if they have any warnings.
Any bear warnings?
Yeah.
See, the reason that I don't think that, like... Okay. A reason that, like, for example, like, have you ever heard... I don't know if this is an urban myth or not, but, like, the reason that there's no wolves in, like, Massachusetts and Rhode Island and shit... It's because settlers and shit in the 1800s fucking killed them all.
There's timber rattlesnakes.
Okay, so I'm not surprised that there might be fucking dangerous snakes or something. I don't know. All right, get off your phone. You're not podcasting right now. You're just silently reading random facts about the woods.
Died.
Yeah, but you could at least do me the courtesy of reading out loud. With these things you're talking about.
I didn't see anything interesting that I want to read.
So you didn't find any out of context information to support your argument, is what you're saying.
Shut up. There's swans in the ocean.
Oh yeah, great. Swans. Those are geese.
Those are swans.
Those are geese.
They don't even look remotely similar.
Geese.
Are you fucking serious?
Geese have an S-shaped neck.
They're white.
Geese are white. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing what you do, where you just argue about nothing for no reason.
Well, you're not doing a very good job. I'm very compelling.
You make compelling bullshit arguments. When you're completely arguing about something nonsensical, it's compelling.
Isn't it kind of crazy that the parking lot is full of like big rocks right now?
Like
they're not even sand or pebbles. They're just like stones.
I don't love it. It's probably because
of the storm.
Yeah, do you think when storms happen, the water comes all the way up to this wall up in this parking lot?
Oh, yeah, it does. This floods sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking crazy.
That's why all that metal around where the tent usually goes is all rusted.
Do you want to hear a science fact that I can't explain at all?
Okay.
And I have no idea why this is true, but I think I heard like Hank Green say it or something.
Mm-hmm.
But did you know that the sea level is not the same in all parts of the ocean?
I have heard that.
Isn't that fucked up? That there are parts of the ocean where the sea level is physically higher than other parts?
What the fuck?
I can't explain why that's true. I just
don't
know why that would be true. But I think Hank Green might have said it.
Hold on.
Oh, shit, dog.
Because Earth's ocean isn't warming at the same rate everywhere. Oh, wait, that's sea rise.
Oh, you're looking at sea rise. Not the same.
There's a sea level higher in some places. Subsidence.
Subsidence, I see. Oh, I knew about that. Yeah, no need to explain. Our listeners understand that too. They all know what subsidence is.
I don't know what that
as well.
means.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
you got any beauty influencer hot takes?
Beauty influencer hot takes?
Yeah, hit me.
Like hot takes on influencers?
Interpret the question however you want. What are your thoughts on buccal fat surgery?
Ugh, don't even...
Do you want me to cut that out?
No.
I was just kidding mostly. I didn't think you would actually speak on it.
Oh.
It's a TikTok trend. You're losing energy. What's going on? Do we need lunch?
Plastic surgery TikTok is like a really long story.
All right, so maybe we shouldn't get into it.
I don't know. I just don't feel like there's anything good to add because the thing is, like, if you want to get plastic surgery, like, fuck it, do it. Who cares? I have like 18 tattoos. Who gives a shit?
That's a good point.
But also, a lot of people go on TikTok and do like aerobic cardio and then say that that's why their butt looks like that when they really got a BBL. So,
Like
I don't
people
know.
who, like fitness influencers who are misleading their audience about the ways and means they have achieved their, physique.
Yeah, but then you also have other people that do slideshows and just say exactly what procedures they got and the price tag of all of them. And it's like, this is completely not feasible for somebody that has a regular income. So it's like, I don't know. That's very complicated and fucked up. Like, I'm just trying to have 2 containers of the same curl cream. I'm not-
Okay, yeah. So maybe I took it to the wrong place. All right, so we're not like a fitness debate podcast.
Well, it's not really about fitness. It's like if you have like $20,000 every 6 months to put into getting your lips and eyebrows and nose and cheeks and ass and thighs and all those other shit done, cool, like do it if you want.
Yeah.
But most people don't have that.
I would say 99.9% of the world doesn't have that.
I don't even know if I don't know. Yeah.
Yep, it's all about the Benjamins. It's all about money. All right, we need to tone shift now. Time to think of a new funny subject right now. Trying to conjure one. If we heavily edited this podcast, we would just cut out this whole chunk right now.
Why?
Because it's a little awkward and slow at the present time.
It's a little weird.
I accidentally asked you about a very specific, painful and annoying topic. My bad.
Well, it's not like painful.
Well, I mean, it conjures up negative, feelings for many people to think about, because it's something tied in with like, physical appearance, beauty standards, money, capitalism. Like, it's just like has so many negative layers to it.
That's true.
That are like make it just so gross to talk about.
Well, it's also like, I mean, this isn't your fault or anything, but it's like the fact that that's trending right now is like kind of annoying to me.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, why the fuck is anybody asking me about buccal fat surgery? What do I fucking know?
I guess I'm
you
the
asking
only...
me my review of Coachella, too?
I guess I'm the only person that's asking you about that. So sorry about that.
Okay.
What the fuck are people asking me about that for? I'm just like right here, like, I don't know. I'm sorry.
No. Well, it's on my front page, too.
I'm the piece of shit that's asking
Yeah,
you
fuck
about
you, I guess. That's not what I meant. I'm sorry.
No, but yeah, it is like an annoying trend right now, and everyone's talking about it. So it is.
But it isn't really. It's like, who even did it? Like Gisele Bündchen. And like,
I don't even know who that is. Is that like Tom
Gisele?
Brady's wife?
His ex-wife.
Oh yeah, his ex-wife. Forgot they got divorced. Shout out to Tom Brady, president of Massachusetts.
Shout out to Gisele, actually.
I'm Team Brady. Free Brady.
I think he's kind of a loser for that. Quote me. I don't give a fuck.
Tom Brady is a loser for rejoining the NFL, despite his wife's
Despite the promises he made to his family and his desire to raise his kids, maybe.
Tom Brady was right for that.
Did you see the meme?
He did
that
the
was
right. I don't believe
you know the
I'm saying
uncle
no.
from Napoleon Dynamite? It's like the
Oh, yeah,
video of him in
Uncle
the
Rico?
field. Yeah, then
That was
just playing
tough.
with a football alone because his girlfriend left him.
I heard that he re-retired again like a month ago, like he's already done. And I heard, I don't know if this is true or not, but now he's apparently got a job lined up for football commentating.
Why didn't you just do that?
Or like
the first time?
like a football media situation for him. He really should have done that. Would have been probably a really good move. I mean, that seems to be the move for like a majority of successful, legendary, retired athletes.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that football is like his passion his whole life probably, but like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't care about this. Why am I talking about this?
I'm just making you talk about random trending topics.
I think I brought up Gisele, actually. That wasn't you.
Yeah, but then I staked a claim against Gisele.
You're just being pretty anti-feminist on this episode, Brian.
Yeah, sorry. It's my thing now. It's my new branding strategy. Trying to like bring in more views and money by being publicly being a piece of shit. I'm just kidding. I would never do that. That would ruin my life. You got to think, you know how everyone always talks about like idiot, like, all right, you're going to yell at me and be like, stop talking about that. But like, you know how like people talk about how like psycho conservative people are just liars and that they're just offending people to make money.
Okay.
Like, and that's their whole business model. They're
Yeah.
just trying to be the most offensive so they can bring in a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Like, you got to wonder how many people, like how many dumb assholes have ever tried that on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and then didn't succeed. Like,
Oh,
they
definitely
didn't go
a lot.
viral, didn't get famous or anything, and then they just made everybody they actually know in real life hate them. And then didn't make any money because their content like sucked or something. Like they couldn't hack it as a conservative like public provocateur.
Yeah.
Because we know tons of people that try to become like, you know, get attention for art and music and stuff like that, and they fail all the time, but it doesn't hurt them. But like if you tried to be like publicly a piece of shit and you fail, that's gotta fucking hurt.
Well, I don't think
be
anybody
painful.
doing that is lying about being a piece of shit. You're not just like a good guy behind closed
They
doors.
are a piece of shit, right? Right. But I
Just a piece of shit who took a marketing class.
But the people who become a public piece of shit in order to make money, when they actually make money, it probably sweetens the deal because they're like, fuck it, I didn't need any of the friends I had. My relatives don't talk to me anymore. Who cares? I'm rich.
Yeah.
I'm a piece of shit and I don't care.
Well, I'm saying I feel like a lot of those people probably didn't lose a lot of friends. Like,
Because they didn't
it
have
wasn't
any.
like
probably.
a tipping point where they became like an anti like human rights person. Like they probably were that way the whole time.
Yeah. The internet sucks. Like it's simultaneously like one of the most interesting things that's happened to humanity and one of the worst things.
Yeah.
We can all right. Pause for 1 second. I can cut out what I'm saying right now and I'll just write down the timestamp, but are you losing any kind of steam or do you want to shut it off? We're in brackets right now.
Brackets.
Or we don't have to be in brackets.
No, I don't have to be in brackets.
Do you actually want me to cut out these seconds that we're talking right now?
No, not unless it gets weird.
Okay.
Is it weird?
Well, I'm just checking in
Do you
with you
feel
because
weird?
you're like leaning against the steering wheel like you want to take a nap.
No, we're just talking about really.
Okay, let's tone shift. let's shift. Let's shift. No more
feel like
Tom
I'm putting
Brady.
I'm putting all of the onus on you to steer this conversation. Now I'm complaining about what you're.
I have been intentionally trying to steer this entire conversation.
You
So.
do that sometimes, but it's useful.
It's useful, really.
Sometimes I just don't contribute and I just talk
It's
to you.
it's a skill set that I tried to cultivate that
Yeah.
I've been trying to cultivate is the idea of being a good interviewer or being able to create conversations out of out of thin air.
You do that.
Like Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelstiltskin.
Isn't that the guy that like weaves gold out of like hay or something?
You know, what'd be funny.
What?
So we're doing a marathon. We haven't mentioned this yet, but what? Do you want me to mention it?
Okay, go
You
ahead.
made a shocked face. Should I not?
Well, doesn't that pertain to an announcement that's 9 weeks out?
Not really.
Okay, go ahead then.
Well,
Okay,
you
go,
just
go, go,
you
go,
just
go,
pertain to
go.
an announcement. That's not weeks ago. But
My back hurts.
we're doing a marathon of recording today.
Oh yeah,
We're gonna
going
record.
hard.
Yeah, we're gonna record a couple episodes because we had some scheduling conflicts with interviews, so we're shuffling things around as it happens. And I think it would be funny because we're nearing the end of this episode in the next like half an hour. If I steered
Or
the next
so.
one intentionally.
Oh, that would be funny. Where you, I don't know how.
What
that's
if
gonna
I
work.
just have the whole onus of
I
steering?
don't know what I will have to stop doing.
Just be a conversational passenger princess. That's what I do.
That's what you're doing right now. You're a passenger princess,
Yeah, I
but
just
content.
don't bring up any new topics, complain when I'm sick of your topics, and stop answering you. That's my strategy.
Did you know that successful podcasts that have a lot of money going into them typically will have a job of like a person that their job is to like create an itinerary and like content and like a sheet, I forget what you would call it, like a sheet of like topics and things, and then they give them
Remember
to the
when we
host.
used to do that? Like at the beginning of like the podcast, like around the beginning middle, like maybe like 30 episodes in.
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy to think about. But we used to write up sheets of topics and just poke through them. We did that for like 4 episodes.
I actually don't even remember that.
This was when we used to record in Brighton in the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot.
Oh, we were going through a rough patch too, where we just like didn't have we like couldn't record.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy that we like don't have that issue now?
Every once in a blue moon, we have a bad day or do a recording that just sucks or something.
That was like a while though. Like that was a problem. Like it was like 2 months that we just couldn't record a good episode.
Yeah.
Maybe we were just really stressed and they were all fine.
You know what's an interesting thing to consider?
What?
We need to identify for real when that actually was.
And see if it was like in contrast with something horrible going on.
No, and just look at what episodes we actually put out during that time.
And see if they suck.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about it? I would not be surprised if that was like
during a time when like one of us was moving or something, like one of us had gotten sick or something. We were just like fucked up and
Job
stressed.
transitions.
Yeah, it was probably something dumb like that, and the episodes weren't actually bad. We were just getting in arguments. Like, if we
Yeah.
just aired them, it probably wouldn't have been a problem.
I think that, like, so, I don't know if this is, like, a little too personal or anything, but you've once told me a story from your, like, childhood where you would do, like improv, like, pretend improv, pretending to be characters with some friends of yours, and you had this thing that you would do, brackets.
Yeah.
Have we ever talked about brackets? Like, or that concept that you and your friend had come up with?
It's so stupid because it's not really a concept that we applied it to regular life, but I feel like a lot of people probably do this, like, at least when you were kids role-playing. But this was, like, freshman year of high school, maybe, and we were Homestuck kids.
Shout
It's
out.
kind of cringe. I was a Super Who-Lock Homestuck. Super Who-Stuck. And, actually just Super Who-Stuck. I was never really a Sherlock fan. Sorry. But, I... you guys kind of were annoying. But, we used to do online roleplay, like chat client roleplay.
Yeah.
Because you might not be familiar with this, but Homestuck, the whole premise is that all of the kids are in different parts of the world and they're internet friends and they're gamers. And the game that they're playing becomes like a real life thing and they all meet in person after. But the whole beginning of the game, all of the dialogue is over chat client. So they're all typing to each other. So there was a thing that you used to be able to play. I forget what the name of the website was now. But it was a chat client that was built to look like the chat client in the game. So everybody's messages in the story were all color-coded. Everyone had a different color and a different handle. So you would make a handle and it auto-generated one for you that looked like one of the ones that the characters had. It was like the same format, kind of. And you would get a color assigned and it was the same visual, like chat client. And we used to text roleplay in that. So it was like the same thing. So when you wanted to say something that wasn't your character talking, it was just you would type it in brackets and it would come in black instead of your color. So you knew that it was like you're typing, you're having a conversation, you're like, hey, don't say that because I want this conversation to go this way. Or like, yo, I gotta go, like I have to take a shower or whatever.
Or like, my mom's right behind me, don't say anything bad.
Yeah. So, well, this was really cringy, so it wasn't on a screen our parents could see anyway, because this was embarrassing.
Got it.
But you would put it in brackets because you were actually typing. So then when we would talk in person and we were picking up the same dialogues, we'd just be like, okay, brackets, and just say whatever shit we need to say, and you would know that it wasn't really your character. It was, you were talking in brackets because you're not online.
Yeah, and with that context of the idea of brackets, I think that it would be really cool if there was a way we could deploy that into our conversations where, like, if you had, like, I really think this would be a good system going forward for me and you, that if you had, like, a little scratch pad of paper and a pen, and I did too, we could speak in brackets.
Yeah.
Where you could literally say, brackets, I don't want to fucking talk about this. Stop fucking bringing up this weird thing. Like, it's a little bit making me feel thrown off.
Yeah.
And I could be like, oh yeah, no problem. And then we'd write down 1 hour, 20 minutes, 36 seconds in our scratch pad and then go bracket over. And then go, oh, so what's blah, blah, blah. And then move on with the conversation. And then while I'm editing, I have the scratch notes and I can zero in and identify where all the brackets are.
The real term would be end brackets because that last word you said would also be brackets. So everything's in brackets.
Okay, end bracket.
Yeah.
So I would say end bracket.
Yeah, brackets and bracket. I was a chronically online webcomic nerd.
Well, we love that about you. It made you who you are.
Oh my god.
We're here for it. Everybody is. I'm sure there's at least like one person listening that's like, oh, me too. Oh my god. Like,
There are a lot of people that were into Homestuck that, like, you would never know meeting them in person now because it's been long enough that it's like an internet relic. But every once in a while you say it in front of the right person and they're like, holy shit.
That's part of our demographic that we are targeting through this content is to like we're manifesting that specific type of person will find this.
Yeah.
Or it will find them through the scary deity entity that is the algorithm. The infinite algorithm that is like controlling us all. Yeah. But yeah, I really think going forward, like, because to go back to us when we were having a bad time recording, something that we would do is we would record as if we were live.
Oh yeah.
And it would
did
be
get
like
over
that would be like a kind of problem where we would like not be able to communicate that something was going wrong or that something was like weird because we felt like that no matter what, it was on the record.
You know what I had a really big issue with too? I don't know if you felt this way also, but it's kind of interesting. So we were sort of talking about this earlier. Is I had this really crippling fear of sounding like a bitch. Which, like, I don't know why I have that, like, inner voice that makes me feel like I'm always being a bitch, even when I don't really feel like I am. But recordings of me and the way that I talk, it makes me really insecure sometimes. And when we were new to the podcast, that was something like, now I don't really think like that most of the time. Like, if we record, I don't really even listen back to it ever, because I'm like, whatever. But I think then I was really anxious that I was going to sound, like, really unlikable, and I was really paranoid about everything that I was saying on the recording, so I felt shitty about things that I was saying, even if they were fine. Which I don't really feel like that anymore.
Interesting.
We have a different version of that where I just feel insecure.
I think that audience cultivation is an interesting thing to think about that makes me think that, like, so I think that wouldn't happen because we are cultivating an audience that is charitable. Like we are cultivating an audience of people that like us.
Yeah.
And I think that it would all be different, for example, if we were provocateurs or if we were conflict people or something, or like we were like trying to like call people out and do like crazy stuff like that. Then we would be cultivating a critical audience of people who are trying to find things wrong with us.
Yeah.
Or something like that, you know? And I think the fact that, like, I think that, like, I don't think there's any situation where anybody would think that you were like that or something. Like,
oh, well, I don't really...
And you mean, like, being mean, right? Like, you mean, like, being, like, a snooty, mean, like, bitch in that context?
Yeah, I think that is what I mean. I don't really think about it like this now, for the most part. Like, I know I was talking earlier about feeling negative, and I guess that's maybe more of how it manifests now. But at the time, I think there was also, I don't know if this is weird to talk about, we don't have to dwell on it if you don't want to, but we also had started dating and doing creative projects and having these conversations during the pandemic. So this also felt like a weird kind of like social debut of our dynamic, which was really odd for me at the time, because I just didn't want it to sound like I was like, I don't know what I thought, but like my sense of humor and the way that I talk, and you do this too, is like I talk shit sometimes, but I don't mean it. And like I don't know, maybe I'm being really critical of myself right now, but I feel like I say things that are like, I don't know, like I'll say something stupid, like if you like Dunks more than Starbucks, like fuck you, like die. It's like I don't mean that, but I feel like if somebody doesn't know me, you know what I mean?
Can I flip that on you?
Oh.
I think that's a good thing. I think acting like that is a very good thing. And I'm really, like, okay, I don't even want to say this on recording. This is kind of embarrassing that I think like this.
Okay.
But, like, if we're thinking about branding and marketing and all that shit, which is something that I'm, like, pathologically obsessed with, is probably me just having a broken brain and being a psycho. But,
That's okay.
Like, I think that like, in terms of, like, internet culture marketing universe, that's an East Coast branding thing to do.
Well, so that's kind of, I don't know, maybe
That's
not
like
even
that's like a
branding, right?
barstool influencer behavior. And that's not a bad thing. Like, people who are like,
This is really weird, but
like
you're right.
Barstool's whole brand is starting pointless and hilarious arguments.
See, and that's the thing, like I am just like that. A lot of my friends are like that.
That's
But-
a Boston reputation. Like, people who are like in California and are like stupid, like acai bowl people.
We hate California, by the way.
Fuck the West Coast. But like, fucking Lakers suck.
Oh
Fuck the Dodgers. San Jose Sharks, go fuck yourself. LA Kings fucking suck.
How do you even know all of those team names off the top of your head right now?
East Coast branding. I'm just kidding, but that is a thing. Like, I think that like there's this idea of like West Coast blah blah blah. It's like chill and like relax, whatever. I don't know.
So that's the thing, dude.
But,
Is like I feel like I'm kind of like, maybe this is me completely outing myself right now, but I'm sort of like a social chameleon like that. Like if I'm talking to somebody and they don't talk shit, I don't talk shit to them, because it's like I don't really mean it. You know what I mean? Like if the person is chill and they're not gonna be fucking weird about it, I'm gonna say whatever I want to say, and it's funny and whatever. But none of those are meant to be like lasting forever statements. Like I'm not
like putting myself out there in public being like, I fucking hate everybody who likes Dunkin' Donuts. Like, everybody who likes Dunkin' Donuts should die. I don't fucking think that. I don't even remember that I said it probably like a week later. But most of the people that I'm friends with know that and also talk like that. It's just jokes. But I guess I was really anxious about this because I've never done anything public facing like that isn't a school thing or a presentation or a report. And obviously I'm not talking about stuff like that in that context because I'm not joking around. So I think I was having a lot of meltdowns when we're talking about like early podcasts and why it was hard for me, because I was hearing recordings of myself and we're presenting this professionally and like this is like stuff that I'm proud of, that whatever, and it is kind of funny, we're casual joking around, but I didn't have a vision of myself or like an idea of myself being casual from a third person perspective. Like I don't have any content like that, so it was kind of me meeting myself in a casual way for the first time and being really paranoid about what other people are going to think about that, and like people are going to take me seriously. Like, I don't know.
I think that's a growing up online trauma thing, because like I think, for example, like you gotta think, like I know that you don't act like, I'm gonna create a hypothetical example that isn't actually you. I'm not saying you would do this, but I'm saying like, imagine you did say everybody who drinks Starbucks is a fucking loser and a bitch, like drinks Dunks only. Now imagine you said that and then some person screen recorded you saying that and then posted it on fucking Instagram and was like, this person fucking is like fucked up, like this was so fucked up. Now imagine like what any normal person on earth would think seeing a post like that. They would look at the poster and be like, this person is fucking an idiot. This person is a delusional idiot for clipping this and thinking that this, like, they would be like, all right, dude, like I'm definitely going to unfollow, I'm going to mute this person's post so I never have to deal with this again and never talk to them so they don't do this to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm taking a long way of saying something really simple, but like, if somebody was offended by something like that, they're probably a fucking idiot. And it's like, who cares about that person?
Well, I don't even know if I thought it through long enough to think about like what would really happen, because I really can't think of, I feel like when I talk about this stuff it makes it sound like I'm hiding something horrible that I said, but I really can't think of an example of anything that I don't like stand by. But I also just run my mouth all the time, so I'm like, I probably said something fucking dumb that I wouldn't want, I don't know, someone to put under a real microscope. But like, okay, you know what happened to me one time? This is so stupid, but it was like it was a lesson on the internet. There's one time a million years ago on Tumblr, I posted, I just watched Air Bud for the first time. Fuck Air Buddies, they're stupid. And I tagged...
Air Buddies, is that the fandom for Air Bud on Tumblr?
No, Air Buddies is the sequel where it's his puppies.
Oh, okay.
His puppies all become basketball stars too.
I love that. That's so funny.
But I was at my grandmother's house and I was like 15 and I watched it. I was like, this is fucking dumb. I don't want to go to the mall. So I posted fuck Air Bud, fuck Air Buddies or something like that. And I tagged Air Buddies fandom in the hashtag because I didn't think there was one. And it went viral in the Air Buddies fandom.
The Air Buddies. Air Buddies fucking came for you.
Yeah, dude. It was like 200 notes probably, but every one was somebody being like, fuck you, this is a cute show about dogs, you're an asshole, like, why are you hating on people for liking things, like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, damn, this is
Tumblr
crazy.
was such a fucked up hellscape. It was literally worse than TikTok, probably.
I shouldn't have tagged it. The post should not have had tags. That was my fault. Problem for me. But I kind of thought it was funny, but it was also really traumatizing because I was like, whoa, everyone can see me. So I think I just get nervous about that. Because
awesome.
I've had many moments online, actually. I had one recently where I post something that I think, while I'm posting it, that is so obvious that I'm being tongue-in-cheek, or that what I'm writing about is, like, satirical or, like, even self-critical. And then someone comments and is like, actually, you're kind of a piece of shit for this. And I'm like, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to be more specific than that, I guess, but...
Honestly, like, that happens to me on TikTok a lot, where I'll post something that's either obviously a meme or is sincere, whatever it is, whatever stupid thing I'm posting. And occasionally, like, people will comment something where it's like they're trying to dunk on me or school me on something or criticize me.
Yeah.
Or kind of like, they're like almost like just being short with me about it, like in a way that's like, and like, at least, and TikTok specifically, every single time it literally says like I don't know, like 14 in the bio or something. like it's always a kid that's commenting some stupid like Redditor comment or something, or I don't know, man. Like I just feel like a lot of people will find something that they like that can vaguely be a way to kind of like slash at somebody's feet in a way, like almost like kind of poke at somebody.
Yeah.
And I think that like, what am I trying? I think that people who do that don't even believe what they're saying. They just like are debate lording, like they're just finding some weird angle associated with something they don't know anything about or agree with, and then they just go, like, just find some little way to just, you know. And the whole point is to get a reaction from the poster. It's to just say something snooty, smart, or piss them off or something, and it gets you to do something.
Yeah.
To I don't know, delete the post or have a meltdown, or like, I don't know. Like that's what TikTok's all about. Like that's what those people. There are people who will comment shitty ass things, like mean troll things. Click on their profile, and then it says, "You're here because I commented something fucked up on your post. Haha, fuck you." And that's their bio.
Wow.
Their bio is like, "Haha, you mad, bro, bitch."
That's so dumb.
Yeah.
What a waste of resources.
Well, it's definitely a fucking 14-year-old.
Yeah.
It's never, if it's a real adult, they're like lost and should be in a fucking mental hospital for behaving like that. Anyway, I just think
Getting a little heated over that.
I just think if you're like walking, if you're like scrolling on your phone all day, just finding random posts to just comment something flippant on that isn't a real issue at all. Like if it's maybe a real issue that you actually care about and you're like trying to have a conversation, and maybe it's even a kind of an argument, I don't know, whatever, knock yourself out. But if it's something meaningless and you're just like nitpicking on random things, like fuck off.
Well, I guess I'm more worried about situations where someone is authentically misunderstanding what I've said, because there have been situations where, I don't want to call anybody specific out right now, but like, I don't know, there have been situations where I have posted something that was, like, because I've posted a lot of my writing on Instagram recently, and I will post something that is, like, maybe a reflection on a moment that I had where I had, like, a thought or an experience where I wasn't being my best self and I could have handled it differently, and I'll write about that, and then somebody will comment and be like, well, maybe you should have not, and it's like, you're fucking right. Like, you're right. Obviously, that's why I posted this. Like, I'm not just, I don't know, I can't be more specific than that, but that's the kind of shit where it's like, the fact that I am saying something that is questionable, and it's either a joke or it's self-reflective. Like, I'm aware that the things that I'm saying are going on the internet. Like, I'm putting that out there. You know what I mean? And in that context, it makes me think, like, if I saw someone write a poem about something and the narrator was saying something that wasn't that great and the whole poem was about that reflection, I would think they were trying to say something about that thought and to think about it a little more. But not everybody's going to do that, because you're also in the context of social media, and some people, like, don't read into things as much, or maybe it's not clear that it's supposed to be, like, sometimes it's a little ambiguous, and it's ambiguous on the part of the person who posted it, which would be me. And that is what makes me nervous, is when it's someone who really isn't trying to be an asshole, but they just actually misunderstand and then make you look like an asshole when that was kind of the point. Well, and I write a lot of stuff like that, and I say a lot of stuff like that. So
let me say this too. Like, we also live in a world where there's this really weird meta audience. Like, there's this weird, like, wrong vector that people look at media through a lot of the times, that I think started probably with our generation and our age group when we were younger, where a lot of us started to, for one reason or I have no idea why, but there was a cultural shift where people didn't want movies and books and shit to be racist or homophobic or whatever.
Yeah.
So everyone started like canceling like racist ass, like stupid books and fucking books that like were shitty towards gay people and stuff.
Yeah.
But a side effect of that correction in culture was this idea that all characters, media, and themes and books had to adhere to like the right thing. Where it's like, if there's a character that does something, like, people, like, imagine if you watched a fucking movie where every single character in the movie did the right thing, always said the right thing, never hurt anybody, never did anything bad, never made any mistakes, and learned all of their lessons at the end, and everyone hugged and high-fived at the end, and it was great. What the fuck even what happened? There's no lesson, no conflict, no problems, no disasters, no fight, like nothing happens.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like when you like a lot of people confuse the idea of correcting, like the idea of trying to correct a creator that's being a piece of shit. They confuse that with attacking media that explores themes of doing something negative.
Yeah.
And that's
that can be
fucking
difficult.
dumb. That's so fucking stupid. Like, go read the Bible. Go read a children's Bible if you want perfect little happy stories where everyone does the right thing. Go read The Gingerbread Man.
Yeah.
Or watch SpongeBob, because that's what kind of media does that.
Yeah.
Not
a Marvel
fucking
movie.
Yeah, or Marvel. Not fucking media made by real people.
And the
that's
thing
about
is, too,
real life fucking experiences.
The thing is, too, is that most literature, like, I don't know, maybe movies and TV are a little bit different. I don't really think that's true, actually, though, because, like, there's things like Euphoria, where it's, like, obviously the characters are not...
Yeah,
like,
it's experiencing the gritty hellscape of being a young person in today's world.
Yeah, or, like...
That's not wrong.
Like, there's a lot of books that are like that, too. Like, My Year of Rest and Relaxation. That is one of the most viral books of the last year. Like, New York Times bestseller, I'm pretty sure. Left for 2021 or 2022. And that book is about one of the most horrible people ever, and she does not learn her lesson in the end, and it's awful. But it's a really good book. And I think it can be really exposing to be somebody... Like, I don't know, I don't want to make it sound like all of my work is like this, but I do make art about things that I'm thinking about, and the reason I'm doing that, if you really step back and think about it, is I'm reflecting on the feeling that I had. It wasn't just an errant shitty thing that I said or an errant thing that happened. It's something that happened, and then I made art about it because I'm thinking about it and I'm processing that. And I'm not putting it out there because I'm like, hey, everyone should be a piece of shit. Like, this is what I believe. Like,
this is a personal manifesto and a diagnosis and prescription for your personal behavior.
yeah, like, what
Everybody.
the fuck? Like, if somebody was acting like that and wasn't putting it online, I feel like that'd be more of a... I don't know, but I don't even fucking know. I can't really explain my point without being specific, but I don't want to call out the person who commented.
Well,
because...
dude, if you were specific, no one would be able to figure it out because it's happened to you so many fucking times.
I know, yeah.
So it's like actually not even like that. Like, it's like this idea that, like, I don't know, man, just...
And the thing is, too,
It's fucking lame.
if it's making people frustrated enough or stressed out enough to comment, this does happen rarely. Like, to be fair, I post this stuff, most of the posts either get no comments, people are like, oh, this is cool. Like, I shouldn't just talk like everyone's hating on me, because they're not. But every once in a while, I'll get, like, a paragraph of someone being like, this isn't really how you should act. You should be really empathetic to the other person in the situation, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, the only reason this happened is because I wrote about it and told you. Like, I posted this. Like, I'm posting this for a reason.
But the thing is that I want to say is that I think that you are, like, even what you just said is too charitable.
Yeah.
It's too charitable to that kind of commenter, because that kind of commenter, I don't think those people are being genuine. I think that when somebody just goes out of their way to just comment some flippant, weird moral correction on a piece of art, they're not making a real observation about it. They're just trying to, like, give you a little poke, kind of giving you a little stab.
Which is why I never try to actually, like, in the past, I used to, like, clap back when people comment stuff like that and, like, try to post something shitty in response because it was funny. But it never made me feel good. It was just, like, shitty, and then I looked shitty.
It never tastes good.
Yeah, and then
Even
you
if
just
you
look
win.
like an asshole,
Yeah,
and
you
it, like,
just-
makes them look right. So,
Not always.
what I've been trying to do most of the time, but what I've been trying to do is just be like, this is art, or just read it again. Like, I don't know, you don't have to like it, you don't have
Or
to
just
comment.
don't even fucking answer them. Just let their idiot shit comment just sit there for everyone to see.
You know what's crazy, though, is that most of the time that I do that, if I actually comment, like, hey, that was the point, that person follows me and starts liking my posts all the time. And it's like, maybe you're
Okay.
just... I think sometimes the internet just puts your post on the page of a really literal thinker who's just like, this means exactly what it looks like it means.
Well, dude, that's a really interesting point too, because, like, you can get yourself, like, I don't know if you can do this with Instagram and shit, but you can definitely do this with TikTok, where you can engineer yourself into a conflict algorithm.
Yeah.
Where you are creating content to be served to people who only engage in conflict on TikTok and on the internet.
And that's
a real thing.
That's what stresses me out, because like at the end of the day, I know that the genesis of a lot of this anxiety for me is the way that I talk and post online, but I don't want to change that, because that is an expression of my personality. That is, like you're saying, it's kind of a cultural thing. Like that's what people around here talk like and do. I don't really want to sanitize myself to prevent getting hate comments like once a month. Like it's not that deep. But I also don't want to post something that's going to make somebody feel like I'm advocating for being a piece of shit, or like I'm saying, like, hating on somebody that doesn't deserve it or something like that. So there is kind of a responsibility to putting that kind of content out there, where I don't want to be a negative force or a drag on other people, or for my overall mood of my content to be negative. Which is interesting, because sometimes, like, I don't know, it's weird, because I never thought about any of this shit until we started doing the podcast, and I started hearing clips of myself, and I started realizing that I could be in a really good mood and be joking around and saying something that if I just said it to my friend and we weren't recording, I would have forgotten that I said it, they would have forgotten too, we walk away, and in my head that's a positive interaction. But I listened to the audio later, and it's like maybe a year later we go back and jump in to like listen to a random clip, and I sound like I'm pissed, but I'm laughing, and it's like, it's just really weird to hear that reflected back, because I feel like people talk about that. Like, people from Boston are always mad. And it's like, nobody feels like that. But maybe it's a cultural thing. Maybe it's me. But I just was really paranoid about that in the past. And maybe sometimes still am occasionally. But it was a problem then, to get back to a million years ago. We were talking about why we couldn't record for like a couple months. For me, it was that. Just worrying about everything I said.
I don't want this to be weird. I hope this isn't weird if I bring this up. But like, I also feel like there's the possibility too that it's like a sexist response, where because nobody ever comments stupid shit like that to me, and if people do, nobody takes them seriously at all.
We were talking about this the other day too, but I get so many comments and so much feedback from people, like people that know us too, that have like talked to us for a long time or worked with us, that then said it was like your podcast, or like that you are the one in charge of the podcast or something. Like, we get a lot of, like, casual sexism from people that like us, let alone random haters.
And it's weird, because I kind of think, I like to think that that's just like, oh, that's like a problem with the world, or like people are just not thinking hard enough about it, and if they just thought about it more or whatever. But I also feel kind of responsible, because I feel like maybe, like, I'm like making this about me, but like I feel like it's almost like I'm not making it obvious enough that I'm not fully responsible for this or something.
That's not on you.
Or like, I don't know, because like something we've even had ideas to try to practically address it, like make you have you record intros and shit, so that it's your voice is more centered in the show and stuff. Because and to dispel any confusion, if somebody is listening to this and is confused about it, like, this is a 100% collaborative project. This is a 50-50 project between me and Theo.
Dude,
my what? Let's fucking talk about this.
No, yeah, I don't want you to feel like you need to bear any responsibility.
Fuck it. No, don't. Let me talk for a sec. Oh, shut the fuck up.
No, because here's
I'm talking over you.
All right, no, listen though. Seriously? Because what I said to you the other night, I stand by. This has never happened with a woman or a femme presenting person.
Right.
Which means it's fucking obvious that it's also my podcast. If I'm the one that emailed you for 2 months scheduling your interview, or that I'm the one you were talking to primarily about it, like if I've been the one communicating with you, and we get on the podcast and we're like, okay, Brian is setting up the sound and editing, and then our email signature says, Theo Earthworms, project coordinator and co-host and co-founder of Boston Art Podcast, Brian Huntress, editor and manager of Boston Art Podcast, and then someone goes, thanks, Brian. Like, fuck you. Just fuck you. It's not that hard. You don't have to do anything extra. It's fucking obvious. And it is misogyny. And that person might be a perfectly nice person that just fucked up, but that still means they have to fucking deal with that shit. Because I'm still offended when you do that, no matter who the fuck you are. And you would be offended too if it was you.
Yeah.
Not you, specifically, but...
I understand.
You know, I don't know. This is a soapbox, but...
And to like, literally just to make it as clear as possible, like... You know, Theo is like the administrative fucking like ruler of the show. If you ever contact us through any written or message, like anything like that, you're talking to Theo. I'm never fucking reading it. I'm never fucking answering it. So if you literally message the Instagram, you should just say, hey, Theo, because you're talking to Theo, not me. Ever. You know what I'm saying? If you have a question about the editing, The sound, the mastering, I fucking suck at all of that, but I'm trying to learn.
you do a really
That's
good
all
job
me.
at that.
All of that shit's me. All the editing, all the fucking audio, all the
Yeah.
fucking microphone shit, I'm doing all of that.
And to be transparent, that's
It's a
the reason.
split operation. If it was just me trying to engineer a show alone, I'd be fucked. I'd just be some idiot with microphones.
Dude, me too.
And Theo would just be somebody emailing people with no microphones.
Yeah.
It's like we are a symbiotic operation that creates a good show together. We need each other. We are the fucking, like, we're co-creating this. We are both operating and making the show together.
Yeah.
So,
And it's a lot of work, and it's like, I don't know, it's just disappointing when people don't see that. Because it's like, the thing about it that's tough too is like, I don't even think a lot of the time that the people saying this stuff are bad people, but it's always men. It's usually men of a certain age, and it's usually in the same breath as them complimenting me about something else. But they just don't take me seriously. And I see that, and it sucks because then I'm put in a position of like, I can correct you and look like an asshole, which I have the right to do because you were the asshole actually. But then it makes it really weird, and it makes it awkward, and it fucks up a networking connection for me, and it's a lot of weird pressure. And I know that it isn't how we're presenting it. I know that it's not your fault, Brian, because it's not women. Like, it is clear enough that the average person, which by the way, like 82% of our audience, at least on Instagram, are women or femme people, according to their demographics on Instagram. So I'm not that worried about it because I know that it's really obvious. Also, the fact that I'm on every fucking episode. Hello.
yeah, I don't think there's ever been an episode that didn't have one of us.
Yeah, I'm tagged in every post. We both run the Instagram. There's photos of me on everything. All of the descriptions say, in this episode, Brian and Theo. Like, I also do some of the outros. You do way more of them because you do all the audio stuff, and I probably should help with that more.
Well, it's just basic editing. It's okay.
But, like,
It's not,
well, you do a lot, too.
Most
I don't
professional shows, the editor isn't even on the show.
Yeah.
It's a very basic job.
But it's also, like, the vehicle of... Like, it is a 50-50 split, the work that we do.
Yes.
There's also a lot of other miscellaneous things, like... I don't know.
But the intellectual property and content being created, aside from any fucking technical or physical work associated with the project, is created by us.
Yeah.
It wouldn't matter if we had a producer or if we had an editor, if we had an administrative manager or something like that. At the end of the day, the content is being made by me and you.
Yeah.
Together. The intellectual property being created in this very moment is by you and me.
And then the thing about that, like, I think this is maybe what you're going to lead into, but it creates this weird thing because then you're like, okay, so why do you even care if you know that it's your podcast and like every once in a while someone says something shitty, whatever. And that is true, and I do think that a lot. But it also creates this feeling when recording of like almost imposter syndrome on my own project, where it's like I know there's a certain demographic that is listening to this that thinks that I'm just the like cute girl that's co-hosting. And it's like, if you're listening to this, fuck you and block me. Why'd you flinch?
I don't know why I flinched. It was just scary. Good job.
Sorry.
I didn't mean to flinch.
I mean, it's weird because it's like, then there's this kind of internal thing of like, I shouldn't be this mad. And then we're back to the point of like, I don't want to sound like a bitch. Like, I don't want to be bitchy on my own project and be pissed off and be annoyed and be mad. But it's hard. Like, we have had interviews where I fucking walked away and we didn't air it because the person was a fucking asshole to me.
Yeah.
And that's real. And I make art about that, which means, like, I make art about that in my own life. Like, I have a painting up right now at Laconia Gallery that's about this experience. Of, there are things where I just have to deal with this shit. And it just is what it is. But it makes it really hard to figure out how much I want to talk about that because I don't want that to be, like... I don't not want to be an advocate for femme people, but I also don't want that to be my only defining characteristic because I happen to be in this circumstance. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's weird. And then when you're posting things about it and you're trying to work through those feelings and then it comes off kind of negative and someone goes, hey, maybe you should just cheer up a little bit. Like, we all love you. It's like, thanks. Cool. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just really minimizing and it's frustrating. And it's like...
And this is basic stuff.
Yeah.
This is all basic stuff.
This is the same shit I've been mad about since I was 14.
It's basic.
Yeah.
It's been infographics about this online for a long time.
Yeah.
So
it's just annoying. And then it all compounds on itself too, because it's like, it's actually really interesting. I feel like we've been talking about this theme the whole episode, really.
So we're talking about, like, what is office appropriate? And it's like, well, nobody's ever said anything to me, but I feel like I have, like, cheap-looking hair, and I'm worried about how it looks if I don't put product in it. And, like, I'm thinking about how I'm going to look in the office the night before and I'm taking a shower. And then, like, this imposter syndrome of being, like, a new person in a classroom and not wanting to look like a bitch and ask questions like this other person is. And, like, I don't know. It's, like, this thing that you carry with you, and it does have this resonant effect when, especially when it's someone who likes you, that is supporting you or is friends with you, and they're just like, good job, Brian. It's like, you did do a good job, and you deserve to be recognized for that, and I do not want you to feel guilty for that.
I'm good. I'm going to be okay.
But you don't have to do anything extra to... Like, the problem lies with the person who said the thing, no matter who they are or what their intent was. And it has a lasting consequence. It's not just an errant comment, especially when it comes from multiple sources, multiple times over the course of years, and will for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. That kind of stuff can be frustrating. But I guess to make it more optimistic, to circle back to my original point, it doesn't matter. You're going to be uncomfortable anyway. That wasn't optimistic. That was negative.
No, dude, it's like you didn't, like, I don't know. And to readdress this thing you were talking about feeling like you're being too negative all the time, that's not real. I do not agree with that. Okay. I do not think you are negative all the time or something like that.
Okay.
I feel like I feel like I'm more negative than you.
Really?
Yeah. I'm always like, fuck you, bitch, and like just saying like fucked up, I don't know, or saying that people should, I want to take people out of their cars and beat them up or something.
Oh my God.
I've literally said that on the show. Like, I want to fucking beat the shit out of that guy or something. I've said things, anyway, whatever. I don't know.
Well, don't say that, but...
If you disagree with anything Theo has just said, fuck you. Literally just fuck you. Don't listen. So, I'm sure we'll talk more about this more and more in the future.
Yeah.
Maybe we could finish this one up. I mean, this is an extended episode.
How long is it?
It's an hour and 36 minutes.
Oh, wow. Holy shit.
So
I feel like we left that on a really negative note.
I really do not think we did.
Sorry,
and
I keep saying that.
I think that you might be having a vulnerability hangover, because you went out on a limb and you said some stuff that is very meaningful to you, and you just have to process it, and that's okay. And if you want to cut all that off and delete it, that's fine.
It's better to put it out there.
If you want. We don't have to talk about the whether or not you should put it out there on the recording either. We can stop recording now and talk about this.
No, it's okay.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
No, I appreciate you. It just sucks because regardless, it's a shitty feeling.
Yeah.
Because if you post it, then everyone goes, yeah, good job, like clapping emoji. It's like, okay, like I asked for basic recognition and for people not to be shitty. Like, this doesn't feel great to... You know what I mean?
And also, I feel like you shouldn't feel pressure to like put a nice little bow on this and have a positive message here.
Yeah.
Because it's something that sucks, that you feel bad about, justifiably, because people made you feel like shit. And you shouldn't have to like put like a nice, insightful stamp on the end of it. It's just like that. It is what it is, and that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
So, fucking, I don't know.
But I guess at the end of the day, it does kind of tie into like I don't want to leave it, for anybody else that this resonates with, I don't want to leave it on a note of like, I mean, deal with it however you're going to, but what I've done in the past is I've been really angry about it, and I've stewed in it, and I've made it a point to like post about this all the time and to like say things all the time. And the reason that I don't anymore isn't because I don't feel mad, but it's because every once in a while a well-placed correction is important and it makes me feel better, and that's good. But if I'm always thinking about this, it creates this echo chamber in my own head, in my own feed, in my own art of feeling lesser than. And that's not really how I feel most of the time. And it's better to let those moments pass and feel like they have nothing to do with you than it is to be on the lookout for them. Because they're going to keep happening. And it's kind of like what we were talking about with like learning new things and putting yourself in uncomfortable positions. Like sometimes you're going to feel bad, but you don't have to stay there. You know what I mean? You can kind of pass through that. It's just weird when you're on a public platform that is like, there's a lot of mindfuckery that goes into your own identity being presented back to you, even if you're doing it on purpose. And I don't want to stop doing that, which is why I kind of stopped dwelling on a lot of these things for the most part. But it can become a slippery slope of getting really glum when you do dwell on them, because even though it does suck, it's just not worth, I don't know. It's not worth making every day suck because someone said something to you once, you know?
Facts. Sorry, I said facts. I know I was banned from saying that.
Oh, God.
I'm an idiot.
No, you're not.
I love you.
I love you too.
I'm not really saying anything right now because I feel like I don't have anything to add. I feel like everything you said says it all, and I don't feel a need to throw my own fucking garnish on top of it. You know what I mean? I think that's just the truth.
I guess so. That's what we do, though.
You want to leave this one here?
I guess so.
It's a good episode.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some post-recording aftercare and go get a snack or something, and then figure something else out. Thank you guys for listening. It's not all negative. This is ultimately a good thing to talk about. So
yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Boston Art Podcast is an independent DIY production by Brian Huntress and Theodora Earthworms. The information contained in this episode represents the views and opinions of the original creators or our guests, and does not represent any institution, organization, or business. Find us on Instagram at Boston Art Podcast, and tune in for a new episode every Friday. Thank you for listening.